call this meeting to order. The Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. All right, can we get a roll call, please?
Council President Albertson.
Here.
Councilmember Rivera.
Here.
Councilmember O'Halloran.
Here.
Councilmember McIrvin.
Here.
Councilmember Prince.
Here.
Councilmember Perez.
Here.
And Councilmember Vaughn.
Here.
Roll call, Mr. Mayor, all present.
All right, thank you. So we're going to start off with a proclamation, Sexual Assault Awareness Month.
Okay. Proclamation. Whereas Sexual Assault Awareness Month calls attention to the impacts of sexual abuse, assault, and harassment, and whereas sexual assault is a violation of a person's body, sexuality, sense of self, and safety, and whereas Black, Indigenous, and other people of color, those living in poverty, the LGBTQIA+ community, elders, those with disabilities, and others who have been historically oppressed are disproportionately affected by sexual violence in significant and complex ways. And whereas this year's theme, Together We Act, United We Change, highlights the importance of working together to address and prevent sexual abuse, assault, and harassment, and whereas the City of Renton believes that every individual deserves to live, work, and play in safe and supportive environments where everyone is treated with respect. And whereas working together as a community, we can alleviate the trauma of sexual assault by ensuring resources are available to all survivors through educating the public and actively disrupting harmful attitudes and behaviors that contribute to sexual violence. And now, therefore, I, Armando Pavoni, Mayor of the City of Renton, do hereby proclaim April 2025 to be Sexual Assault Awareness Month in the City of Renton. And I encourage all residents to join me in this special observance and join advocates and communities across the country in taking action to prevent sexual violence. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Renton to be affixed this 21st day of April 2025. Signed, Armando Pavoni, Mayor of the City of Renton.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I move that the council adopt the proclamation as read.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to that council adopt the proclamation as read. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion, all opposed, nay. Okay, thought I heard something. Motion passes. Accepting for the proclamation is KSARC CEO Kate Krug Garvey, and she is virtually available, and here she is.
Good evening, everyone. I accept that the option to join me today virtually. As the council president mentioned, my name is Kate Krug-Garvey, and I'm CEO at King County Sexual Assault Resource Center, a nonprofit that serves this city and all communities throughout King County. And we are especially proud to call Renton home to our main offices and headquarters. And I just want to say thank you. I'm here to accept the Sexual Assault Awareness and Prevention Month proclamation on behalf of our organization. Thank you so much for being part of sexual violence. And first, in school, in the workplace, and so much more. But the recovery from trauma of sexual assault is possible with support. PSARC has assisted 4,300 individual survivors and their family members in their information about sexual assault. Our 24-hour resource line is a good starting point. You can reach that 888-99-VOICE And we always say, we can't change what we can't talk about. So I want to thank the community of Renton and this city council for your leadership and your willingness to be loud about sexual assault. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Kate. And we do have a certificate. I'm sure administration will get it to you somehow. Thank you very much. Absolutely. All right, up. Oh, pause for applause. Up next, we have the administrative report.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Please join us Saturday, April 26th at 9 a.m. at Highlands Park and Neighborhood Center, 800 Edmonds Avenue Northeast, as we celebrate Arbor Earth Day. Dive into a fun volunteer day outdoors and help make a difference in your community. For more information to register for this event, please visit rentonwa.gov/volunteer. Also on Saturday, April 26th from 9 to 12, the Renton Police Department is hosting its annual Shred-a-thon and prescription drug take-back event at Renton Memorial Stadium. Residents can protect their privacy and safety by bringing personal documents to shred and disposing of their unwanted prescription medicine. This free event is also a food drive for the Salvation Army. The Police Youth Academy applications are now available. The Academy is a collaborative effort between the Renton Police Department, King County Sheriff's Office, Newcastle PD, and the DEA. The 4-day program, held July 14th to the 17th from 9 to 4 p.m., is an opportunity that allows middle school-age students to explore a variety of topics, including law enforcement, firefighting, emergency response, while developing leadership skills, teamwork, and self-confidence. Learn more about the program, read about the application process, and register by May 2nd at rentonwa.gov/PDY Youth Academy. Help shape Renton's future waste services. Tell us what you're looking for from your future waste collection services and take the survey at yourvoice.rentonwa.gov. The deadline to take the survey is April 27th. Information about preventative street maintenance, traffic impact projects, and road closures happening this week can be found at rentonwa.gov/traffic. All projects are weather permitting. Unless otherwise noted, streets will always remain open. That's it, sir.
Thank you very much. All right, up next, we have audience comment. When I call your name, please come up. You have 3 minutes. Say your name, city of residence, and I want to remind you that your comments are to be directed to the council as a group. And we have 4 people signed up here and one person virtually. First up is Sharon Bosted.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sharon. I've lived on the 300 block of Burnett Avenue North for 40 years. I'm here to discuss Logan 6 and choices. The city of Renton promised to protect my neighborhood. You have chosen not to honor that. I'm very disappointed. North Renton neighbors have chosen to voice their concerns about Logan 6 by using petitions, press releases, emails, letters, phone calls, speaking at council meetings, raising dollars for a legal fund, yard signs, picketing at 3rd and Logan, which continues for the 8th week. You have chosen to ignore our concerns and our actions. Moving forward, I must choose to use my vote and urge everyone to do the same by identifying and supporting council that respect and will not ignore neighborhood concerns, as well as understand the need for a better Renton. In closing, I would like to understand why, during last week's council meeting, you did not choose to show Matt Hanby when he tried to use a visual aid. Was it because it was a colorful account of the facts, or just another example of questionable choices? Anyone?
Mainly the setting and mainly for comments. Personally, I wasn't here, so I have no idea what you're referring to, but this is really the environment to give your comments, not necessarily to answer questions.
If I leave my email address with the city clerk, should I expect a response?
Absolutely. Someone will get back to you with that, with an answer to that. Absolutely.
I will give that to you before I leave.
I believe I have it.
All right, thank you. Next up, we have Michael Westgard.
Hello, council. Thank you. Appreciate your time. I'm here to comment about the resolution in support of the LGBTQIA plus community and why I think it's important. Tonight, I stand before this council with purpose and clarity. Renton must go on the record as a city that will stand up for our transgender, non-binary, and gender expansive neighbors under attack. This isn't about symbolism. It's about telling the communities we stand with. It's about telling our communities we stand with those under attack. We are witnessing an unprecedented assault from the federal officials who weaponized the administrative state to erase LGBTQIA plus existence. From banning life-saving health care to forcing trans women into men's prisons where violence awaits. When they come for any of us, they come for all of us. But here is our power. As a city, we control housing policy, public facilities, and law enforcement priorities. The resolution should commit us to shielding our residents from federal prosecution by prohibiting city resources from gender identity investigations, investing in housing programs for trans youth facing homelessness, who comprise 40% of our unhoused youth, training all city staff in gender affirming services because a DMV clerk dead naming someone is complicity in oppression. To council members who say this isn't our fight, look at our schools where LGBTQIA plus kids are bullied, our streets where trans women of color fear walking home, and our hospitals where doctors risk prosecution for providing care. This is the very definition of local government's duty: protect the vulnerable. I support the city taking action on a resolution immediately and backing it with budget allocations for crisis housing and legal funds. Renton shouldn't just affirm rights, we should actively defend them. Thank you.
Next up, we have Matt Hamby.
Okay, hello, council. This is deja vu for those who were here last week. I'm not going to go into what happened other than sometimes I just feel the city can't get out of its own way, like stumble, bumble, blunder. And this is just a small instance of that, but I can tell you that I'm not all that mad about it, but a lot of people I know are. And I think you will have more than just one email to follow up on about this. So having said that, I have a visual aid I'd like to show. And as I said last week, I hope you're not offended, and someone was, so I don't know who that was, but anyway. And I'm gonna just basically go over what I went over yesterday, or last week. So it's obviously hard to put it up on the screen, so I'm gonna hold it over here. No, I'm not, I'm gonna put it there. Anyway, this is already a fiasco, but this is supposed to be a recounting of a chronology. So council members, you've heard this, so I'll just do it again. It's been 420 days since you were asked to do something about parking with the Logan 6 development. Now, I realize that that issue may be a settled issue. I would like to talk to you about that. But keep in mind, a year ago, it wasn't a settled issue, right? So we waited for 350 days before this council said they could speak to us about that issue or any issue. So all along that time, we were meeting with the city, we were talking to whoever would listen. And at a certain point, the city basically said, you're talking about policy issues, right? And you need to go to the city council. So imagine the conundrum that put us in, where we couldn't talk to you or you wouldn't talk to us. Either way. So that gets us to February 10th, 2025, when this council removed itself from the one role that it had, which was to hear an appeal. So not only did you not do anything, but you got rid of the one thing you could have done, right? As of that point. So I'm sorry to call you out on that, but I think you should think about how that plays out in someone's mind. So the next day was the hearing that you removed yourself from the appeal from. And since then, we've waited 70 days. It took almost a month to meet with you all. I almost thought you would jump at the chance to meet with us, but some people weren't available, some people weren't around. But I didn't get the feeling it was a high priority. Okay, and so 70 days, tick tock, tick tock. The two issues we're still concerned about are the parking. There isn't enough parking on the development. There's no on-street parking around the entire block. If you drive along Burnett, you will see there's no curb on that side of the street where the development is located. So everyone's going to be parking in our neighborhood. And I still will not give up on this idea of Logan access. I think the fact that the intensified development around Logan argues for using that actual street to enter and exit, and the fact that the one-way streets go the wrong way is just going to drive traffic into our neighborhood. So I don't know how many more times you're going to see me, but at least one more time tonight. So thank you for your time.
All right. Up next is Tristan Kochen, or Cochin. Forgive me for. All right. We'll go with it.
Hello, my name is Tristan Koshin. I live in downtown Renton. I want to discuss trees that used to exist in downtown Renton, particularly on South 3rd Street between Shattuck Avenue or Burnett Avenue and Main Avenue South. From the early 1970s to 1994, those trees were there, and I found out about this on a state DOT video where they were documenting road. Not sure what they were documenting, but they were documenting it, and I found out there were trees on the street I lived on for over 30 years. And recently I found out they were removed in 1994. And it was 16 different tree planting sites. And the last week, what I decided to do was try and count every single parking spot in downtown, and I gave up after about 900 using satellite imagery, which also proved I have too much free time on my hands. But all those trees that were removed were for just an additional 12 on-street spaces. And I know how important parking is to people in the city, especially highlighted in the Logan project that's been talked about for a long time. But today, if you said to people that you wanted to remove 16 trees in downtown to add additional 12 parking spots, I don't think it'd be very popular. And one big thing I'll point out with trees, because I'm sure the council knows how important trees are, but downtown gets very hot during the summer. There's very little shade in downtown, especially on South 3rd Street on that particular stretch that I live on. And I hope one day these trees could be brought back, and I hope that downtown businesses and the city can give this idea consideration. And I'll be sending some photos of the trees that did exist on South 3rd Street to the council email as well. Thank you.
All righty. Next up, virtually, is John Winrick.
Good evening, Mr. Limerick. You have 3 minutes to speak, and you can feel free.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Mr. Mayor, and council members. My name is John Winrick, and I'm the owner of Vesper Aviation, which we sole FPO of the airport. We've invested $1.2 million in good faith with no reciprocal benefit from the city in the last year to rehab the aging facilities, dilapidated equipment, and customer service experiences, which frankly were sorely lacking and negatively contributed to the Renton Airport's reputation in the local market. I'm speaking tonight in opposition, raising serious questions about the Air proposed airport lease tonight. Given the seriousness of this being a new commercial lease, which even though it's month-to-month lease, is a highly impactful one. Respectfully request the city council to table the approval of the Air lease to evaluate a few things, including Vesper's proposal from earlier today, which I'll get into, and concerns regarding the legality of the leasing process, the methodology and conformance with the airport's leasing policies adopted by council resolution in 2019. Today, Vesper submitted a proposal with 2 key items that I'm confident align exceptionally well with the mayor and council's economic and environmental sustainability objectives, as well as with common feedback from the community and the Renton Airport Advisory Committee request to 1, deliver discounted fuel pricing, and 2, advance environmental sustainability initiatives at the airport. The Vesper proposal met those 2 concerns or requests by first offering to guarantee fuel pricing to be an average of adjacent airports' fuel pricing for self-service fuel, And number two, and this is especially exciting, to allow Renton to be only the second state or the second city and airport in the entire state of Washington to accept sustainable aviation fuel, or SAF. SAF cannot be acquired without having a financially healthy FPL because it does add a lot of cost of goods sold. And if the proposal is approved tonight without additional due diligence and consideration, Vesper's business will be materially hurt to the point where we will seriously need to entertain layoffs and certainly could not bring SAF to the airport. So specifically, I ask, again, respectfully, two questions. The first is, because this is a critical commercial operator lease, I'm ultimately asking the council to table the Bazer approval to ensure it's in the best interest of the city and community given the alternate proposals. And lastly, in the spirit of not economically discriminating, I'm asking specifically if the Bazer proposal was subject to the same vetting process applied to the FBO ground lease and operator assignment process last year, including, lastly but not limited to, the arm's length third-party CPA review to provide the scoring exhibit A and submittal of detailed business plan, including executive experience. Thank you, Council.
All right, thank you. All right, we're going to move on to the consent agenda. There are 7 items on the consent agenda. Are there any that council members would like to be removed for separate consideration?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
hearing none, I move that the council concur with the consent agenda as published.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the council concur with the consent agenda as published. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes. Moving on to unfinished business. Councilmember Rivera.
No unfinished business, Mr. Council President / Mayor.
Councilmember O'Halloran.
No unfinished business.
Councilmember McIrvin.
Yes, Mayor, the Transportation Aviation Committee has 3 reports to present.
All right, the first report is regarding appointments to the Renton Airport Advisory Committee. The Transportation Aviation Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to confirm Mayor Pavoni's appointments to the Renton Airport Advisory Committee. First is Sheila Humphreys to the Highlands Neighborhood Alternate position with a term expiring May 7, 2028. And second is Peter Kane to the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association AOPA alternate position, also with a term expiring May 7, 2028. This is signed by the committee chair and members.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I move council concur with the Transportation Aviation Committee report.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that council concur with the Transportation Aviation Committee report. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes.
All right, the next report is regarding an amendment to an agreement with Century West Engineering for the Taxiway Alpha Rehabilitation Project at the airport. The Transportation Aviation Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to approve Amendment Number 2 to Contract 23-128 with Century West Engineering for the Taxiway Alpha Rehabilitation Project. This too is signed by the committee chair and members.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I move council concur with this Transportation Aviation Committee report.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that council concur with the Transportation Aviation Committee report. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes.
All right, the final report for Transportation Aviation Committee is the approval of the Boss Air LLC month-to-month lease. The Transportation Aviation Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to approve the month-to-month premises lease with Boss Air LLC and authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute the lease agreement. This too is signed by the committee chair and members.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I move council concur with the Transportation Aviation Committee report.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that council concur with the Transportation Aviation Committee report. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Just really quickly want to acknowledge, in light of the audience comments we received as well, that this was a question asked in the Transportation Aviation Committee about the nature of being month to month. In terms of the other process for the ongoing operation of fueling at the airport, there would be a separate RFP process in consideration for that. So this is really only addressing the short-term need, and I think everything that we heard during audience comment could be taken account in the full RFP process. And I already moved it, so there you go.
You?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I have some questions regarding this in light of the comment. So my first question is, since I'm not in committee, is the lease Is there a particular deadline for us to meet in terms of converting lease to month, or do we have, is this a new lease that we are embarking on?
I'm imagining that's going to direct it to somebody in transportation.
Yeah, so it would be a separate month-to-month lease for a portion of that property, not the entire one. So it is a separate lease, yeah. It's my understanding. I will look to staff to be definitive on that.
So it is a new lease. And secondly, if I may, Mr.
Yes.
Mayor, I have questions regarding for the site itself, for what it is to be used. Has there any study on environmental harm done, or is this just very new that there's no study done for the potential fueling if this happens to be part of that project? But you're saying it's separate. But is there any concern for environmental impact for this potential month-to-month use?
And I will look to staff for the definitive answer, but my understanding is the space that this month-to-month lease would be occurring on is the space that is currently being used for these operations. So any further expansion in other locations would be a separate process and would not be within the scope of this lease.
I'm writing down these questions so we can get the answer, but yes, it's been in the, it has not changed. It's been a fueling point for quite some time. So this is not a new station.
Got it? All right. So what's?
We have to vote.
Yes, that's what I was about to say. So to make sure I was at the right spot. So all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay.
Nay. Is there an option to abstain, Mr. Mayor?
Would you like to abstain?
Yes, sir, with lack of information.
Okay. Please note that, Mr. Clerk. And so motion passes. All righty. Moving on to Councilmember Prince.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember Perez.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember Vaughn.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Utilities Committee has two committee reports.
All right, the first Utilities Committee report is regarding an amendment to a contract with WSP USA for the Lind Avenue Southwest Storm System Improvement Project. The Utilities Committee recommends concurrence in the staff recommendation to authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute the amendment number 1 to contract 24098 with WSP USA Incorporated in the amount of $349,657 for engineering services associated with the design of water quality treatment facilities along the corridor of the Lind Avenue Southwest Storm System Improvement Project. This is signed by the committee chair and members.
And Mr. Mayor, before I move this committee report, I just want to say it's a long time coming in terms of the work that we need to do to improve the storm system, but particularly the flooding area at the Lind Avenue Southwest. So with that, I move that the council concur with the committee report.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the council concur with the Utilities Committee report. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion passes.
All right, the final report for the Utilities Committee is regarding a change order to contract with RL Alia Company for the Burnett Avenue South and Williams Avenue South Storm System Improvement Project. The Utilities Committee recommends concurrence to the staff recommendation to authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute change order number 1 to contract 24098 with RL Alia Company in the amount of $270,425 for additional quantities and 1 new bid item related to pavement restoration and trench backfill for the Burnett Avenue South and Williams Avenue South Storm Improvement Project. This too is signed by the committee chair and members.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Yes, again, before I motion for this particular committee report, I just want to say that this change order is, while it is an increase in amount, it is still within the budget that's allocated for this particular project. And so this is great news for us. And with that, I move that the Utilities Committee report be adopted and that the council concur.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that the council concur with the Utilities Committee report. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes. All righty, we are moving on. There is no legislation, so let's go to new business. Councilmember Rivera.
No new business, Mr. Mayor slash Council President.
Councilmember O'Halloran.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, on Monday, April the 28th, the regularly scheduled 3 p.m. Community Services Committee meeting has been canceled. Thank you.
Ready? Councilmember McGurven.
No new business, Mayor.
Councilmember Prince.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. On Monday, April 28th, 2025, at 4:45 p.m., the Planning Development Committee will be meeting in the council conference room and by video conference. We have 3 items on the agenda: middle housing / ADU update, commercial conversion to residential update, and emerging issues in CED. And that's all, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Perez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On Monday, April 28th at 4 p.m., the Finance Committee will be meeting in the Council Conference Room and also via video conference. There are 4 items on the agenda. First, grant funding from the Administrative Office of the Courts for supplemental community court funds. 2, Amendment number 2 to CAG 25028 with Midcon Incorporation for Legacy Square Design Services. 3, 2024 carry forward first quarter 2025 budget amendments ordinance and 2025-2026 fee schedule resolution. And finally, vouchers. Thank you.
Okay. Can you announce the committee of the
Yes,
whole?
of course.
For me?
Also, on Monday, April 28th at 6 p.m., the Committee of the Whole will be taking place at the Council chambers as well as via video conference. There is one item on the agenda, and that is the website update. And at 7 o'clock, we will have our regular council meeting at the Council chambers as well as via video conference.
Thank you. Councilmember Van.
No new business, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to thank our community members for speaking and educating us on the issues that you're caring about and what we missed last week. So thank you.
We always appreciate everyone coming out to give their comments and let us know where you stand. Appreciate that.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I move to recess into executive session for approximately 30 minutes to discuss purchase of real estate pursuant to RCW 4230-110-110-1B, where no action will be taken and that the council meeting will be adjourned when the executive session is adjourned.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that council recesses to executive session. And no action will be taken. It's for approximately 30 minutes, and at the end, the meeting will be adjourned. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All righty, motion passes. Meeting will recess to executive session.